All right, get ready, because we're diving deep into the Bhagavad Gita today.
Oh, exciting.
We've got excerpts from a scholarly text.
Okay.
It's in Hindi,
Uh-huh.
and it really breaks down the Gita's philosophy
Okay.
and all the practical advice that it has.
Nice.
So are you ready to unpack some serious wisdom?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to me how the Gita tackles these huge questions about like the self and the universe and everything.
Yeah.
But then it also offers this practical guidance for everyday life.
Right.
It's really like a philosophical toolkit for figuring out how to navigate being a human.
I love that. Okay, I'm intrigued. So before we get too far into the weeds,
Yeah.
can you give us just a taste of like what makes the Gita so unique?
Well, one thing that really stands out, I think, is the context.
Okay.
I mean, the whole thing unfolds on a battlefield,
Oh, wow.
right in the middle of this epic war, the Mahabharata.
Oh, gosh.
So we've got Arjuna, this warrior prince. He's facing this horrible moral dilemma.
Yeah.
He's literally about to fight his own family.
Oh, my gosh.
And in this moment of total crisis, his charioteer, Krishna, reveals his divine nature
Oh, wow.
and then delivers this whole profound teaching.
Talk about high stakes.
Right.
I'm guessing that setting really adds a certain intensity to the message.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the Gita doesn't shy away from the realities of human existence at all.
Right.
You know, it acknowledges all the struggles, the conflict, the tough choices we face,
Mm.
but it also offers us a way to find meaning and purpose,
Yeah.
even when everything feels totally chaotic.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So to understand the Gita's perspective on all of this, what are some of the key concepts that we should really grasp?
So the Gita introduces us to four fundamental concepts: Prakriti, Jiva, Jagat, and Brahman.
Okay.
Think of these as like the building blocks of existence according to the Gita.
Got it. All right, let's break those down. Starting with Prakriti, what exactly is that?
So Prakriti refers to the material world, basically everything that we can perceive with our senses.
Okay.
And it's made up of these three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas.
Okay.
And these gunas, they're like fundamental forces or qualities that kind of influence everything in the material world.
So kind of like the ingredients that make up the universe's recipe.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Each guna has its own distinct characteristics.
Okay.
So like sattva is associated with things like purity, harmony, knowledge.
Okay.
Whereas rajas is more about passion, activity, dynamism.
Got it.
And then tamas represents inertia, ignorance, darkness.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture here.
Yeah.
But how do we fit into this cosmic mix?
Right.
Where does Jiva come in?
So jiva is the individual soul, the eternal spark within each of us.
Okay.
And it's distinct from prakriti, that material world.
Okay.
The Gita actually describes this distinction using this idea of kshetra, which is the field, and kshatrajna, the knower of the field.
Okay. I am really curious about this field analogy.
Yeah.
What exactly does that represent?
Okay, so think of your body as the field. It's like this temporary dwelling place for your soul.
Okay.
So your senses, your mind, your experiences, all of that operates within this field.
Okay.
And then the soul, the jiva, is the knower,
Okay.
the one who's experiencing and acting within that field.
So like a farmer tending their land, our souls are inhabiting and interacting with this material world through our bodies.
Exactly. And while the field, your body, is subject to change and decay,
Right.
the soul, that jiva, it's eternal.
Okay.
It's not bound by those limitations of the material world.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So Prakriti is the material world.
Uh-huh.
Jiva is the individual soul.
Yep.
What about Jagat?
Mm-hmm.
Is that just another word for the universe?
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Okay.
Jagat refers to the world or the universe as we experience it. It's
Okay.
like this ever-changing stage where the play of Prakriti and Jiva unfolds. So it's constantly in flux, subject to these cycles of creation and dissolution.
So Jagat is the setting.
Yeah,
It's like the backdrop for this whole cosmic drama.
I like that.
All right. And finally, Brahman.
Yes.
What is that all about?
So Brahman is the ultimate reality.
Okay.
It's the absolute ground of being. It kind of encompasses both the material and the spiritual realms.
Okay.
You know, it goes beyond our limited understanding. The Gita actually offers both personal and impersonal ways to think about Brahman,
Okay.
you know, acknowledging just how vast and complex this concept really is.
So it's like Brahman is the source of everything,
Yes,
but we can connect to it in these different ways.
that's right.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. Let me see if I've got it.
Okay.
We've got Prakriti, the material world,
Uh-huh.
which is made up of those three gunas that shape everything.
Right.
Then we've got us, the jiva,
Yep.
inhabiting these temporary bodies, the kshetra.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to navigate this ever-changing world, the
Yep.
jagat. And underlying it all is this ultimate reality, Brahman.
You got it.
Did I get that right?
You nailed it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you've got a solid grasp of those foundational concepts.
Awesome, but there's more, right?
There is.
The Gita also introduces this concept of Purushottama.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
Okay, so this is where the Gita goes beyond that simple duality of Jiva and Brahman.
Okay.
It's like the supreme self, the ultimate source and controller of both the material and the spiritual realms.
So is Purushottama like a higher level of Brahman?
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
Okay.
You know, Purushottama transcends the limitations of both the individual soul and the absolute.
Okay.
It's a concept that's unique to the Gita. It adds another layer to our understanding of the divine.
Okay, so even Brahman isn't the final stop on this journey.
Right.
There's this even more supreme level of being.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And remember, the Gita's message is that true knowledge lies in realizing our connection to this supreme self, this Purushottama.
Okay, but how do we even begin to connect with something that's beyond our comprehension?
Right.
Does the Gita offer any guidance on that?
Absolutely. And that's where we get into the practical side of the Gita.
Okay.
It outlines these 3 paths, or yogas, for attaining liberation: karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga.
Okay, so 3 paths to liberation. I'm definitely ready to explore those.
Yeah.
But first, could you just explain what liberation actually means
Sure.
in the context of the Gita?
Yeah, that's a crucial question
Yeah.
because liberation or moksha, it's not about escaping the world entirely. It's about freedom from that cycle of birth and death,
Right.
from all the limitations and suffering that are inherent in our material existence. It's really about realizing your true nature as that eternal jiva
Okay.
and uniting with the divine.
So it's about transcending the confines of our limited perspective
Yes.
and connecting with something greater.
Exact. And the paths we're going to explore,
Yeah.
they offer different ways to achieve that liberation.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's delve into these paths.
Okay.
What's karma yoga all about?
So karma yoga is the path of selfless action.
Okay.
It's about performing your duty, your dharma, without being attached to the results.
Wait, so doing your duty without caring about the outcome.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's a really powerful concept.
Yeah.
A real shift in perspective.
Yeah.
The Gita actually has this famous verse that says, "You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action."
Wow.
So it's about focusing on the action itself, doing it with excellence and detachment,
Okay.
rather than being consumed by what the outcome's going to be.
That's a serious mind shift.
It is.
I can already see how that could be incredibly beneficial,
Yeah.
especially in our world today where everyone is so focused on achievement.
Absolutely. It offers a whole new way of approaching work, relationships, even our everyday tasks. It's about letting go of ego and surrendering to how life unfolds.
It almost sounds paradoxical.
It does, doesn't it?
Like you're still striving for excellence.
Yeah.
But you're not clinging to these specific results.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's actually where the real freedom lies.
Mhm.
You know, the Gita suggests that when you act with this detachment,
Yeah.
you free yourself from anxiety and frustration.
So instead of constantly needing to control everything,
Yeah.
you become more present in the moment.
Yes,
You can really focus on the task at hand.
exactly. And that presence, that mindfulness is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
It brings clarity, purpose, even a sense of joy to your actions.
I'm already starting to see the appeal of this path.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got selfless action with karma yoga.
Mm-hmm.
What about jnana yoga?
Okay, so jnana yoga is the path of knowledge and wisdom. It's about seeking self-realization,
Okay.
about understanding the true nature of reality.
So this is where we really dive deep into the philosophy side of things.
Absolutely. But the Gita emphasizes that true knowledge in jnana yoga
Yeah.
goes beyond just the intellectual understanding. It's about direct experience, about realizing the unity of all things, connecting with that deeper reality within yourself
Yeah.
and in the world around you.
So it's less about reading books
Yeah,
and more about direct perception, seeing the interconnectedness of everything.
precisely.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that divine spark within yourself
Yeah.
and in every being.
That sounds like a powerful practice in empathy and compassion.
It is.
Yeah.
It helps you break down that illusion of separation
Right.
and experience a deeper connection with all of existence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got selfless action with karma yoga,
Right.
deep knowledge with jnana yoga. What about the third path, bhakti yoga?
Okay, so Bhakti Yoga is the path of devotion and love
Okay.
for the divine.
Mm.
It's about cultivating this deep personal relationship with the divine, whatever form that takes for you.
So this path is more about the heart than the head.
Exactly. And you know, the Gita actually considers Bhakti Yoga to be the highest form of yoga.
Oh, wow.
Because it involves that direct connection with the divine through love and devotion.
Interesting. So 3 distinct paths,
Yeah.
all leading to the same goal of liberation. Does the Gita favor one over the others?
That's the beauty of the Gita. It doesn't say one is better than the others.
Okay.
It encourages this syncretic approach, recognizing that all of these paths can complement each other.
Okay.
They can support each other.
So they're not mutually exclusive.
Right.
You could actually integrate elements of all 3.
Exactly. And that's what makes the Gita so adaptable and relevant to each individual seeker.
I love that.
You know, it offers this personalized approach to spiritual growth.
It's not a one-size-fits-all philosophy.
No.
But hold on a sec.
Yeah.
The source material that we're looking at, it mentions another path, dhyana yoga,
Right.
the path of meditation.
Yeah.
Where does that fit in?
You're right, dhyana yoga. While it's not explicitly listed as a separate path to liberation, it plays a crucial role in all 3 paths.
Okay.
The Gita sees meditation as this powerful tool
Yeah.
to cultivate mental focus and stillness, which is essential for any spiritual practice, really.
So it's like this foundational practice that supports the other paths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Gita's approach to meditation emphasizes ethical conduct,
Okay.
sense control, and detachment from material desires as these essential prerequisites for successful practice.
So it's not just about sitting in a quiet room hoping for the best.
No.
It's about cultivating a whole lifestyle
Yes.
that supports that inner stillness.
Precisely.
Okay.
And it even describes different types of meditators.
Oh, interesting.
Acknowledging that there are all these nuances within this practice.
So even within meditation, there's room for personalization, exploration.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a good grasp on dhyana yoga now.
Uh-huh.
But you mentioned earlier that the Gita is surprisingly relevant to modern life.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? Like,
Yeah.
how can we actually apply these ancient teachings
Right.
to our 21st century challenges?
Absolutely. That's a great question, and one we'll dive into a lot more.
Okay.
But I can assure you the Gita's wisdom is remarkably relevant even today.
Okay.
It offers guidance on everything from work and relationships to ethical dilemmas,
Okay.
finding meaning in the midst of chaos.
Now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
Can't wait to explore those connections. But for now, I think it's time for a little recap.
Okay, sounds good.
We've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We started off by exploring those foundational concepts, Prakriti, Jiva, Jagat, and Brahman.
Yes.
We delved into this idea of Purushottama, the Supreme Self.
Right.
And we even got a taste of those 3 main paths to liberation.
Uh-huh.
Karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga.
Yes. And we even touched upon the significance of dhyana yoga, the path of meditation as the supporting practice.
Right, and all of this coming from this epic dialogue
I know.
between Arjuna and Krishna on a battlefield, no less.
It's a powerful setup for some profound teachings.
Yeah, I'm already feeling the impact of these ideas,
Me too.
and there's still so much more to unpack. So get ready for part 2 of our deep dive into the Bhagavad Gita,
Looking forward to it.
where we'll really explore how to apply this ancient wisdom to our modern lives.
Awesome. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, last time we were talking about all those paths to liberation.
Right. Karma yoga, jnana yoga,
Bhakti yoga.
bhakti yoga.
We even touched on how the Gita isn't saying, like, pick one and stick to it.
Exactly.
But it's more about finding what works for you.
Right. It's all about that self-discovery and figuring out what resonates. But before we jump into how to apply all of this to modern life, I think it's worth circling back to dhyana yoga.
You know, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
We talked about it as a foundation,
Uh-huh.
but how exactly does the Gita approach meditation
Right.
compared to other traditions?
Well, one thing is that it really emphasizes ethical conduct,
Okay.
sense control, and being detached from material desires
Hmm.
as prerequisites for successful meditation.
So it's not just about, like, sitting in a quiet room
No.
and hoping for the best.
It's not about just emptying your mind.
Right.
It's really about cultivating a lifestyle
Right.
that supports that inner stillness.
So aligning your actions with your spiritual goals,
Precisely.
creating that foundation.
Yeah, and the source we're looking at actually highlights a verse
Okay.
where Krishna tells Arjuna, a person of disciplined mind who moves about the senses, with the mind withdrawn from the sense objects, such a person is said to be a yogi.
So it's about learning to control where your attention goes.
Right. It's not about suppressing your senses entirely. It's about training your mind to be less attached to all those external distractions.
To have that inner mastery.
Exactly.
I love that.
And what's really fascinating is that the Gita doesn't just talk about one type of meditator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it acknowledges that there are all sorts of approaches and temperaments out there.
That makes sense.
Like in the source material, it mentions the yukta, who sees everything with equanimity,
Okay.
and the yuktam, who's totally devoted to the divine.
Okay, so two different ways.
Yeah, these are just two examples of how individuals can experience and practice meditation.
So even within meditation, there's room for you to find your own way.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Okay, so I think we have a good grasp on dhyana yoga now.
Great.
But you mentioned earlier that the Gita is surprisingly relevant to modern life.
Oh, yeah.
So how can we actually apply these ancient teachings
Right.
to our 21st century challenges?
Totally. Well, let's start with karma yoga. Right. The path of selfless action.
Okay.
Think about how often we get caught up in the results
Oh, constantly.
of our efforts, whether it's at work, in relationships, even in our hobbies.
Oh, yeah, I can get super fixated on outcomes.
I think we all do. It's natural.
Yeah.
But karma yoga offers a different way of looking at things. It encourages us to shift our focus to the quality of our actions, to do our best without being attached to a specific outcome.
So instead of worrying, what if I fail? Or what will people think?
Right.
It's about putting all of my energy into the task at hand.
Exactly.
Doing it with excellence and integrity.
Yes, and imagine if you applied that to your work life.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, what if you approached every project with that sense of detachment?
Honestly, I think I would be a lot less stressed out.
Probably.
And probably more productive too.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not constantly obsessing over the outcome,
Right.
I can really focus on doing my best work.
Exactly.
That's really powerful.
And that's just one example. Think about your relationships.
Yeah.
What if you focused on being present, giving your best to your loved ones without expecting anything in return?
That would totally change the dynamic.
It would, right?
Instead of, what am I getting out of this?
Yeah.
It's, how can I contribute to this relationship?
Exactly. It's a big shift.
It is.
But a powerful one.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond relationships.
Okay.
Karma yoga can apply to every area of life.
Wow.
It's about cultivating that mindset of selfless service and detached action.
I'm starting to see how these ancient principles can really be used today.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got karma yoga.
Right.
What about jnana yoga? How does that apply in the modern world?
Well, think about the amount of information we're exposed to every day.
Oh, it's crazy.
Right. News, social media, opinions, facts.
Oh, overwhelming.
Coming at us from all directions.
For sure.
And it's hard to know what to trust.
Totally.
And that's where jnana yoga comes in. It encourages us to develop discernment, to hone our critical thinking skills, to question our assumptions, to go beyond surface level understanding.
Oh, so instead of passively absorbing everything,
Right.
I become more active in how I'm getting knowledge.
Yes, you evaluate, analyze, you seek out that deeper meaning.
Wow, I love that.
Jnana yoga reminds us that knowledge isn't just about collecting facts. It's about developing a deep understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It's about seeing how it's all connected.
Exactly, which is so important in a world that often feels very fragmented and divided.
It's about finding that underlying unity.
Yes, and that realization can lead to more empathy, compassion, and a sense of connection with all beings.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen how karma yoga and jnana yoga can be applied today. What about bhakti yoga? It seems harder to connect devotion to our world today,
Right.
with all the secularism and materialism.
I get that, but remember, Bhakti Yoga is about cultivating a loving relationship with the divine. And that doesn't have to be limited to traditional religious practices.
So it's not just about praying or going to temple.
No, not at all.
Are there other ways to express bhakti?
Absolutely. Think about those moments when you feel awe and wonder.
Okay.
Maybe you're looking up at a starry sky.
Here?
Or listening to a piece of music that really moves you.
Right.
Or even just witnessing an act of kindness.
Hmm.
Those are all expressions of bhakti.
So it's about recognizing that divine spark
Yes.
in everyday moments.
It's in everyday experiences, finding those moments of connection that transcend the mundane.
I love that.
And that can resonate with anyone, regardless of their background.
It's about opening yourself up
Yes.
to a deeper experience of life.
Exactly. Connecting with something bigger than yourself.
I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, and the source material emphasizes that bhakti isn't just about feeling good. It can actually transform you. Yeah, it can purify the heart, leading to more selflessness, compassion, and understanding.
So it's not just about emotion.
Right.
It's about cultivating qualities that make me a better person.
Exactly. And that's what makes Bhakti Yoga so powerful.
Yeah.
It's a path of transformation that can lead to real personal growth.
Wow, this has been so enlightening.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd connect so deeply with the Bhagavad Gita.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
These teachings have so much to offer.
They really do.
Even today.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what else we discover in the next part.
Me too.
Welcome back.
Back for more.
I'm still kind of buzzing from our last segment.
Yeah.
When we explored karma, jnana, and bhakti yoga. And how we can actually use those principles today.
It's amazing, right?
It is. Who knew that ancient wisdom could be so relevant to our lives now?
I know. The Gita is really timeless.
Yeah.
It just speaks to the human condition. It's just as powerful today as it was back then.
So we've explored the core ideas, the paths, even meditation.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this whole deep dive, there's one thing I'm still wondering about.
Okay.
The source material that we've been going through.
Yeah.
It talks about the Gita as this synthesis of different philosophical systems.
Oh.
Can you explain that a bit?
Absolutely. So the Gita doesn't just exist in isolation. It draws upon this rich tapestry of Indian thought.
Okay.
Weaving together all these different schools of thought, Sankhya, Yoga, and Vedanta.
Okay.
Taking the best of these traditions, integrating them into something really cohesive and comprehensive.
So it's not just this one narrow viewpoint.
Right.
It's more holistic.
Exactly.
Incorporating all these diverse insights.
Yeah, for example, we see the influence of Sankhya philosophy in the Gita's emphasis on Prakriti and Purusha, the material world and the observer.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Right, but there's a key difference there.
Right, the Gita doesn't see Prakriti as completely independent.
That's right.
It's guided by the divine.
Exactly, that's a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the role of the divine. While still recognizing how important it is to understand how the material world works.
So it's combining this understanding of the material world with the spiritual dimension that's underlying it all.
Precisely.
Okay.
And we also see yoga philosophy,
Okay.
With its emphasis on practice and self-discipline.
Right. So it's not just about learning.
Yeah.
It's about putting it into practice.
Yes. Embodying that knowledge through your actions and experiences.
It's not enough to just read about it.
Right.
You have to actually walk the path.
Exactly. And then the Gita draws heavily on Vedanta philosophy, especially when it comes to Brahman, the ultimate reality, emphasizing the oneness of all beings, the interconnection of the universe.
It really seems like this idea of interconnectedness is woven throughout the entire Gita.
Absolutely. And the Gita's synthesis of all these philosophies gives us this rich and multi-layered understanding.
Wow. I'm starting to see the Gita as more than just a text.
Yeah.
But a culmination of centuries of inquiry.
That's a great way to put it.
Like a distillation of ancient wisdom, offering a roadmap for navigating life.
I love that the Gita doesn't just give us answers. It invites us to go on this journey of self-discovery and realization, encouraging us to question, explore, find our own path to liberation.
And I think that really speaks to our listeners.
It does.
They're all about gaining knowledge, different perspectives, finding what works.
Absolutely. It empowers us to take ownership of our own spiritual journey,
Yeah.
to find what resonates with us,
Yeah.
and to bring that wisdom into our everyday lives.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
I agree.
We explored the concepts, the paths, meditation, the context, the different philosophies.
It's been quite a journey.
Even how to apply it all today.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on life.
I'm so glad to hear that the Gita really is a gift.
It is.
The more you delve into it,
Yeah.
the more you discover.
It really is a timeless masterpiece.
It is.
As we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with a final thought.
Okay.
The Gita doesn't just offer knowledge.
Uh-huh.
It offers transformation.
Yeah.
It invites us to step onto that path of self-discovery.
Right.
And to find our own way to connect with the divine.
Beautiful.
So what will your path be?